You have probably noticed that different species of Minecraft fight, and this includes civilizations. Today, we will talk about a specific fight, one that comes from one of the most hostile dimensions of the game, the Nether. Have you ever wondered what is the reason for this endless fight between withers and piglins? Well, there are things within in the game which can indicate answers. For this reason, the withers and the piglins hate each other. Welcome back to Bobicraft, but in English! We will start talking about an interesting fact. We all know that piglins are true beasts to kill. It seems that they are not afraid of anything. However, this is not the case. Piglins are very afraid of the fire of souls, and we can easily verify it setting fire of souls near the piglins. They will immediately run away, and this will also happen to the other blocks of souls. They will try to escape as soon as possible. But why does this happen? Hey, you skeleton, come here. I'm not afraid of you. Well, I found it interesting to answer this question before getting into the matter. First of all, this is a mechanic that Mojang thought of to be able to avoid the piglins, unless you are a brute piglin. These are killing machines that aren't scared of anything. But then, what's the point of piglins running away from a simple blue fire, but instead they dare to fight with skeletons, withers that are much taller than them? Well, the answer is simpler than it seems. First of all, let's remember that the piglins look like animals, exactly a wild boar, and considering that the hooglings and the piglins are too similar, like the fangs, the eyes, the snout, everything points to the fact that the piglins are an evolution of the hoogling, something similar to the theory of the evolution of man. And like any animal on this planet Earth, they have to learn to survive. For example, imagine that a real-life bear ate some fruits, but the poor little bear didn't know it was poisonous. Well, this will help to learn future generations. Maybe many piglins died because of this dangerous fire. And finally, the piglins learn not to go near this fire. We also have to remember that Minecraft fire are souls consuming. Wouldn't you be afraid of finding a blue soul consuming itself? Well, returning to the subject of skeletons, something quite important must be considered. Piglins don't hate the other skeletons. They can coexist perfectly without fighting. And this information confirms that the piglins don't hate all the undead, making us understand that they only have problems specifically with the wither skeletons. That is, a creature that can only appear in the nether fortresses. This data is quite revealing, because what sense would it make for the piglins to fight with a creature that is much larger, and also that absolutely all their army have quite powerful swords? Because all this would be justified if the piglins want something from the nether fortresses. There's something in these fortresses that piglins need, so I thought, what in this world do piglins love? Well, obviously gold. For them, gold is the most valuable thing, so much that they exchange all kinds of things with us thanks to gold. And curiously, within the nether fortresses, you can find chests, and in most of these chests it is quite common to find pieces of gold. Perhaps this hidden gold has motivated the piglins to assault the fortresses, but trying to assault the fortresses, they would eventually find their owners, the wither skeletons, causing the first conflict between wither skeletons and piglins. But apparently, the gold within the fortresses wasn't the only objective of the piglins. In the piglin strongholds, the piglin always put their most valuable items right in the center, so that they can observe and protect it. Most of these centers contain gold blocks and some other valuable items. Interestingly, there is a different stronghold. There is a bastion that right in the center has only nether wart. It makes us understand that all these piglins are taking care of this nether wart, and the fact that it is right in the center makes us understand that it is just available as gold. But why would the piglins want the nether wart? Well, apparently the piglins have learned to make potions, so from time to time they can exchange resistance potions against fire. But apparently the nether wart is so much more important to the piglins than we think. First, you should know that the piglins appear naturally in the Crimson Forest. This is the natural habitat of the hooglings and the piglins. So the first hooglings and piglins that appear in our world did so in the Crimson Forest. The biome of the Crimson Forest is so important to piglins that even hooglings feed on this type of mushroom. But there is something important in these woods. If we grab a fragment of one of the trees, we can see that this is a nether wart block. That means that these trees are really nether wart. But how is this possible? Well, in some way that we don't know, the nether wart evolved into this typical Crimson Forest mushroom, and finally that mushroom will become a gigantic tree. If it hadn't been for the Crimson Forest, the piglins will never have evolved and never existed. This is why they take care of the little nether wart they have. For them, it is a symbolism of life, the origin of all their survival. Another proof of this mutation is that in the Valley of Soul Sand we can find roots of the Crimson Forest, and yes, it is everywhere, giving more credibility to this mutation. However, this mutation mutation is very rare. That's why we cannot find nether wart anywhere. And of course the piglins, when they find out that the fortresses have this such a valuable object, gave them more reasons to invade the fortresses, generating even more conflicts against the withers. Of course, all this is a theory, but there is still one more proof which confirms that the piglins did intend to loot the fortresses, and these they are the spawners that the piglins have in their strongholds. In this video here, I told you how the spawners were originally created in the nether fortresses. We know this because the blazes are artificially created. They don't appear naturally in the world, and it is certainly not a coincidence that all the spawners in our worlds have a little bit of fire inside. The blazes are creatures of living fire, so this civilization created the spawners based on that fire that gives life. So during the missions of the piglins to loot the fortresses, the most likely thing is that the spawners will have been stolen, because they love to steal everything they find. And what better than stealing a super powerful technology? But something important is that these spawners are not from blazes, they are from magma blocks. This could indicate that maybe in the old days in the fortresses there were somehow magma block spawners, but all these were looted by the piglins. In fact, that would justify why the magma blocks appear strange naturally arise in this way. Well, curiously, the magma blocks emit the same particle of the fire as the spawners. Apparently, if they were created in the fortresses, and perhaps at some point they left the fortresses, gradually repopulating the basalt deltas, that is to say, when they were just creating the spawners, they had to do a lot of tests. Any of these could have jumped, and that's it, they left, something that we will surely talk about in the future. But going back to the subject of the piglins, everything points to the fact that the piglins stole these magma blocks spawners that possibly the fortresses had, only that they couldn't take the places because, well, they are much more dangerous and protected creatures, and apparently neither they had no success stealing the gold from the chest, because if they had gotten it, obviously we wouldn't have gold in the nether fortresses. Also, you have to consider that getting to those chest areas is quite complicated. They are the most hidden areas of the entire fortresses, but apparently the piglins didn't have any kind of problems stealing the nether wart. Normally, they can be found right in the open. Just going down the first stairs, surely they will have stolen some nether wart, and they will have protected right in the middle of some bastions. And that is how this battle arose, piglins taking things that don't belong to them, since they have always been terrible thieves. But for you, who is winning the battle? On the left you have another Minecraft interesting video, and on the right you have a video suggested by the YouTube algorithm. Remember that my book is already on sale here below in the description.